Hello friends, welcome to Weekly Economic Current Affairs. We are yet again back with a new set of topics related to economics. Those who are with us, let me know if I am audible or not. Just let me know so that I can start the session for today. It is very important considering the topics that we would be covering in this session, because it is somehow currently related and it is very important. So I hope everyone who is with us, who is joined us, please do let me know if I am audible or not. Okay guys, ठीक है जी. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the topics that we would be covering today. The first topic is currency manipulator. It is very important. I think, yes, good afternoon ji, good afternoon. As you must be aware that recently India has been removed from the US currency watch list. जो मॉनिटर करते हैं वो जो मैनिपुलेशंस को, वहां से इंडिया को रिमूव कर दिया गया है. सो इट इज अ वेरी बिग डील फॉर अस एंड वी नीड टू हैव अ holistic analysis of what this scenario is all about. What is currency manipulation? What are the implications for India if India continue to be in that monitoring watch list? So we need to know all the details. And the second topic for today would be 6 years of demonetization. Now, as of you know, most of you know that it was like on the 8th November 2016 when the notes of 500 and 1000 were declared no more the legal tender. So what has happened? What were the objectives behind introduction of demonetization? Has it been achieved? And what are the now current scenario in relation to demonetization? So we would be covering these two topics in detail. So please remain with us so that you could have an insight into this topic. Okay guys. So I'm going to start the session for today. First of all, before moving to the topic, this is our, as you might be knowing who are with us, that this is our Seize the Mains question. You can go to our website and attempt the question. Question is related to this only, currency manipulation. India has been recently removed from US currency monitoring list. What do you understand by a currency manipulator? Discuss the significance of this move for India. I hope after covering the session today you would be able to answer it, so do write it down. It is a very good initiative from our side and your response has been overwhelming, and it would be great that if you continue to be a part of our Seize the Mains daily answer writing challenge. Okay. So let me start the topic. First of all, you might have known that there was a recent meeting between our finance minister and US Treasury. So this currency manipulation just comes or has come against this background. Now what is this background? The US Treasury and Ministry of Finance launched our economic and financial partnership in 2010. This is very important. Recently इसकी अभी एक मीटिंग हुई है, पर ये स्टार्ट कब हुआ था? It was started in 2010, that is economic and financial partnership. It is a framework to cement the economic bond between the two nations and to build a foundation for greater cooperation and economic growth. So it is very simple. The move that has come against the background or against the backdrop of the recent meeting that has took place between our finance minister and the US Treasury. So they had forged a relationship, we could say economic and financial partnership in 2010. So compounding on this, okay, let's look what has happened. India is among the few countries removed from United States currency monitoring list, which is released by Department of Treasury, this I am talking about US, on Friday. In its biannual report to the Congress, the US Treasury Department announced that it had also removed Italy, Mexico, Vietnam and Thailand from the list. अब ये चीजें ना बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाती हैं कि हमें पता होना चाहिए कि कौन कौन सी कंट्रीज को रिमूव किया गया है. इंडिया को रिमूव किया गया है, इटली को रिमूव किया गया है, Mexico has been removed, Vietnam has been removed and Thailand has been removed. Now this is very important. The 9th India-US Economic and Financial Partnership, जिसको मैंने अभी डिस्कस किया, जो इनिशियलाइज की गई थी 2010 में, meeting came just ahead of India assuming G20 presidency. You might be knowing that today is the start of our G20 summit that has started in Bali. ठीक है जी. तो इसके बैकग्राउंड में this currency manipulation, we are now being removed from this list, becomes very important for us. Now let's try to understand. सबसे पहले हमारे दिमाग में क्वेश्चन आता है, यार ये करेंसी मैनिपुलेटर क्या है या करेंसी मैनिपुलेशन क्या होती है? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, नाउ लेट्स ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. बेसिकली करेंसी मैनिपुलेशन इज डन बाय द countries in order to gain certain advantage. In order to gain certain advantage. Now the question that comes in our mind is, what is this certain advantage? Why countries indulge in such practices? The reason for countries being indulging in this currency manipulation is basically in terms of foreign exchange. Let's say foreign exchange with respect to dollars. चाइना को तो करंटली यूएस ने एक लेबल ही कर दिया है करेंसी मैनिपुलेटर का. अब इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है कि कंट्रीज जनरली ट्राई टू चेंज देयर एक्सचेंज रेट, और वी कुड से दे डीवैल्यू देयर करेंसी अगेंस्ट लेट्स से डॉलर्स in order to gain advantage over the exports, so that the export market of that country become very, very competitive. This is the background against which the countries basically indulge in certain practices. You must have heard about a system which is known as sometimes that is dirty float. एक्सचेंज रेट सिस्टम, एक फिक्स्ड होता है, एक फ्लोटिंग होता है, एक डर्टी फ्लोट होता है. तो समहाउ यूएस somehow labels the countries as currency manipulator who tries to change or play with the exchange rate. How they play with the exchange rate? They devalue their exchange rate. They devalue so that they could gain advantage over the exports. This is the basic meaning when I am trying to say what is the meaning of currency manipulation. Now let's try to build upon this. Now what has happened? The US Department of Treasury delivered its semi-annual report to the Congress on macroeconomic and foreign exchange policies of major trading partners of United States. बेसिकली जो यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स है वो जो उनके मेजर ट्रेडिंग पार्टनर्स हैं, जो सबसे बड़े मेजर ट्रेडिंग पार्टनर्स हैं, उनको ही कंटिन्यूसली वॉच करता है व्हाट आर दे ट्राइंग टू डू इन रिलेशन टू द एक्सचेंज रेट. यस, बिल्कुल ठीक है राजेंद्र, यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट. The report reviews the policies of the US trading partners during the last 4 quarters ending in June 2022. Now this thing is very important. You need to know कि पहली बात US के trading partners को monitor किया जाता है, and second thing is it is done during the last 4 quarters. The report states that economies that meet 2 or 3 criteria in the 2015 Act. We will try to discuss this act as well. What are the criteria which puts the countries in that particular list? Placed on the list under the legislation, the Treasury Department has to assess the macroeconomic and exchange rate policies of US trading partners for the specific criteria. So basically here macroeconomic policies plus the exchange rate policies of the USA trading partners are continuously monitored for 3 basic criteria that we're going to discuss according to the 2015 Act. Now these things become very, very important. Let's try to see what is the basic criteria. First of all, an economy meeting 2 of the 3 criteria, very, very important. अगर कोई country या कोई economy 3 में से 2 criteria meet कर लेती है in the Trade Facilitation and Trade Enforcement Act of 2015 is placed on the watch list. Now these things become very, very important. इस एक्ट के अकॉर्डिंग 3 क्राइटेरिया हैं, अगर इनमें से 2 सेटिस्फाई हो जाते हैं तो कंट्री को वॉच लिस्ट में डाल दिया जाता है, लाइक इंडिया वाज ऑलरेडी और वाज प्लेस्ड इन द वॉच लिस्ट. नाउ लेट्स ट्राई टू सी व्हाट आर दीस 3 बेसिक क्राइटेरिया. फर्स्ट वन इज अ सिग्निफिकेंट बायलैटरल ट्रेड सरप्लस with the United States is a good and service trade surplus that is at least $15 billion. तो सबसे पहला जो इंडिकेटर है that is on the basis of trade surplus, very important. Second is current account surplus is one that is at least 3% of GDP or a surplus for which treasury estimates, that is the US economy, that there is a material current account gap using Treasury's global exchange rate assessment framework. So the second thing they are trying to monitor is the current account surplus. First thing is trade surplus and second thing is current account surplus. Now third is one-sided intervention. This is very, very important. Occurs when net purchase of foreign currency are conducted repeatedly, that is to try to influence the exchange rate, in at least 8 out of 12 months, and these net purchases of this foreign currency are total at least 2% of an economy's GDP over a 12-month period. Now the third criteria is related to intervention, and this intervention is monitored over a 12-month period. So the three criteria that we have discussed are, the first one is the trade surplus, second one is the current account surplus, and third one is the intervention done by a particular economy. अगर इन तीन में से दो क्राइटेरिया सेटिस्फाई हो जाते हैं, सो द कंट्रीज आर पुट ऑन द वॉच लिस्ट. अगर कोई कंट्री तीनों की तीनों को सेटिस्फाई करती है, देन दैट कंट्री इज बेसिकली लेबल्ड एज अ करेंसी मैनिपुलेटर. तो उसको ऑटोमेटिकली दैट कंट्री बिकम्स अ करेंसी मैनिपुलेटर. अगर हम इंडिया की बात करें तो इंडिया इन द पास्ट वर मीटिंग 2 out of 3 criteria. So once the country is on the list, an economy will remain there for at least 2 consecutive reports, so that the treasury can assess whether any improvements in performance is durable and not due to temporary factors. एक बार अगर लिस्ट में आ गए तो आपको एक साल के लिए वेट करना होगा, क्योंकि ये रिपोर्ट साल में 2 बार आती है. So you have to wait for at least 2 consecutive reports once the country is on the US treasury currency monitoring list. तो इंडिया के बेसिकली इन 2 में से 3 क्राइटेरिया सेटिस्फाई हो रहे थे, जिस वजह से इंडिया जो कंट्री थी इट वाज अंडर दिस वॉच लिस्ट. अगर तीनों के तीनों हो जाते हैं तो दैट कंट्री इज ऑटोमेटिकली लेबल्ड एज अ करेंसी मैनिपुलेटर. दिस इज द क्राइटेरिया अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस ट्रेड फैसिलिटेशन एंड ट्रेड इन्फोर्समेंट एक्ट ऑफ 2015. नाउ दिस इज द मेन थिंग दैट यू गाइज नीड टू नो. ओके, building upon this, let's come to the major part of the question. Now what could have been consequences for India, let's say if India was still in the watch list. अगर इंडिया वॉच लिस्ट के अंदर इंक्लूडेड है तो इसका मतलब क्या है कि उसके लिए इंडिया के लिए कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस क्या होंगे. यस, दैट आई एम गोना डिस्कस राइट नाउ राजेंद्र. नाउ व्हाट इट मींस फॉर इंडिया. If India is on the watch list, then it is obviously pressure on the RBI कि उनको मॉनिटर किया जा रहा है, and India is being considered that it is playing with the exchange rate. So India has to make sure कि वो अपनी करेंसी को appreciate करे. There will be pressure on RBI to cut down the intervention, allowing the rupee to appreciate. This is the first concern that is for India if India is in the watch list. Now the second point is, what are the restrictions if कोई country उसमें आ जाती है, let's say. The tag does not involve any kind of trade restrictions. Like you must have seen in the Ukraine-Russia war, there are a lot of sanctions that are placed on Russia due to this war, but there would be not any trade sanction that would come if a country is under this particular watch list. इसके अंदर कोई sanctions नहीं है, इनके अंदर कोई trade restrictions नहीं है. So these are the basic points that you guys need to know. Third thing is for the economy. A stronger rupee would partially offset the impact of rising oil prices on imports. अगर हमारा रुपी को हम एप्रिशिएट करते हैं, लेट्स से आरबीआई रुपी को एप्रिशिएट करता है, अगर हम इसके अंदर हैं तो ऑब्वियसली हमारा जो ऑयल इंपोर्ट्स होंगे दैट वुड बिकम वेरी वेरी चीप. ऑब्वियस है, क्योंकि नाउ आवर करेंसी इज एप्रिशिएटेड, सो आवर ऑयल प्राइस इंपोर्ट्स वुड बिकम वेरी वेरी चीप. एंड फॉर आरबीआई द सेंट्रल बैंक can increase the diversification of its reserves to include non-dollar assets as well. Now these are the implications that are there if a country is in the watch list, what it means and what it can do and what could be the serious complications for India. अब अगर इंडिया अपने रुपी को एप्रिशिएट कर रही है तो obviously it could have the impact that oil prices could become cheap for them. So this is the things that you guys need to know while you are preparing for any topic. Let's say you need to know the significance and the implications. These two words are very very important. These two words are very, very important. Okay, what are the significance and the implications? So, India was on the watch list. There were 3 criteria according to the Trade Enforcement Act. India met 2 criteria. अगर तीनों के तीनों हो जाते तो इंडिया करेंसी मैनिपुलेटर हो जाता. अगर इंडिया किसी लिस्ट के अंदर है, एनी इकोनॉमी इज देयर, इट वुड बी देयर फॉर एटलीस्ट 2 consecutive reports which are released biannually by the US Treasury to the Congress. This much we have discussed yet now. Okay guys, now moving on to the next slide. Now the question comes very, very important. Which countries are still there on the watch list? Now this becomes very, very important. अभी भी कौन सी कंट्रीज हैं जो स्टिल इस पर्टिकुलर लिस्ट के अंदर इंक्लूडेड है? नो डाउट अबाउट दैट दैट चाइना वुड बी टॉपिंग दिस. जापान, कोरिया, जर्मनी, मलेशिया, सिंगापुर एंड ताइवान. Now this is a list that you guys need to remember. You can either take a screenshot or the PDF would be shared with you guys on our Telegram channel. Now this thing becomes very, very important. कि which countries are part of still of the watch list. कौन कौन सी countries अभी भी USA की currency monitoring list का part है. Now why was India removed from the list? इंडिया को रिमूव क्यों करा गया? अभी मैंने बताया था कि 4 और कंट्रीज को रिमूव किया गया था. India and the 4 other countries were removed from the monitoring list as they only meet one of the 3 criteria for 2 consecutive reports. India has been on the list for about 2 years. Now this is very important. इंडिया का सिर्फ अब एक क्राइटेरिया मीट कर रहा था 2 कंसेक्यूटिव रिपोर्ट्स के लिए जो हमने अभी डिस्कस किया, और इंडिया 2 साल तक इस वॉच लिस्ट के अंदर था. दैट इज व्हाई इंडिया हैज बीन नाउ रिमूव्ड फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर लिस्ट. Clear guys? So this ends our first topic of the today, that was currency manipulation and India's removal from that watch list which is being released by US Treasury, that is released biannually. Now these are the facts you guys need to know while preparing for this particular topic. Now coming to the second part of the topic or the second topic of today, that is 6 years of demonetization. अब जो हमारे साथ ऑनलाइन है, हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं, कैन एनीवन टेल मी व्हाट वर द रीजंस ऑफ वी कुड से कमिंग विद द डीमोनेटाइजेशन? व्हाई डिड वी इंट्रोड्यूस डीमोनेटाइजेशन ऑन 8 November 2016? व्हाट वर द रीजंस गिवन? हाँ जी, एनीवन? You can write in the comment box what you think are the reasons that were there for the introduction. Okay, terror financing. Okay, one of the main reason. Okay, black money. Okay, any other thing you want to add? Hoarding, black money. Okay. हाँ जी, those students who are online with us, they can share their thoughts as well, because I want it to be an interactive session so that we can have one-on-one conversation. Parallel economy. Okay, good. Okay. So first of all, look at what were the reasons for the main objective behind demonetization. As all of you must be knowing that it was on the 8th November 2016 when currency notes of 500 and 1000 were declared that they are no longer a legal tender. भाई इनको डिक्लेयर कर दिया गया था कि अब ये फिलहाल लीगल टेंडर नहीं है. वेरी गुड राहुल, डिजिटलाइजेशन, वेरी नाइस. ओके, इट्स गुड दैट यू गाइज आर पार्टिसिपेटिंग एज वेल. ओके, नाउ अभी बात करेंगे कि एक सर्वे की रिपोर्ट आई है, उसकी फाइंडिंग्स क्या है, वो अलग बात है. पहले देखते हैं व्हाट वर द रीजंस फॉर द इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ डीमोनेटाइजेशन. फर्स्ट वन वाज द फाइटिंग ब्लैक मनी. द ब्लैक मनी इज विच मनी? दैट इज अनअकाउंटेड मनी. First of all, that could be used for, let's say, terror financing and all that. Second was fake notes. Now this was also one of the major problems behind which there was a rationale that we need to introduce some new currency notes, because there was certain circulation of fake notes in the country. ठीक है जी. तो एक तो fake notes था, एक black money थी. Black money से you all know that it breeds corruption. So this was one of the main reasons that they introduced this demonetization. And the third reason was a very important, that is creating a cashless economy by pushing digital transactions. One of the major reason we could say that was perhaps seen was that they wanted to introduce or take steps towards going cashless and promoting digital transactions. So these were the thoughts and the rationale behind which on 8th November demonetization was done. For basically rupees notes of 500 and 1000, and we got a new currency note as well. All of you know as well that currency note was 2000. Now, वो अलग बात है कि now the circulation of 2000 currency notes has also decreased over a period of time. Now let's see the findings of the survey. Very very important. अब सर्वे की फाइंडिंग्स क्या थी वो देखने की कोशिश करते हैं. सर्वे का कहना है it was a failed move. The step has faltered in the long run as several surveys have revealed that despite the center effort to make a cashless economy, currency in people's hand have only increased in the past 6 years. भाई सर्वे के अकॉर्डिंगली कहना चाह रहे हैं वो, दिस इज बेसिकली वी आर डीलिंग ओनली ऑन द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ द सर्वे. This is not a personal opinion, this is only a opinion that we are discussing on the basis of a survey where they are saying that लोगों के पास कैश अब ज्यादा बढ़ गया है. अगर हम बात करें 6 साल की, जो उनका मेन मोटिव था that was to introduce a cashless economy, somehow it has been rendered futile. Why it has been rendered futile? Because the cash have increased in the past 6 years. As you can see, rise in cash transactions, digital transactions continue to rise in the economy, and yet there is 44% rise in cash transactions, especially in real estate deals. The survey has further revealed that 76% people use cash to buy groceries. Now this is very very important. This fact is very very important because it is continuously saying 76% people use cash to buy groceries, eat out and get food delivery. Other common areas of cash usage include home repairs, beauty services. Property transactions emerged as the top area of cash usage from a value per transaction standpoint in the 2021 survey. 44% of those surveyed who bought a property in the last 7 years said cash was a part of the transaction. Now, all this data somehow tries to reveal to us that there is still usage of cash. What could be the points that we can withdraw? First is that there is still usage of cash, and second thing is the property transactions have emerged as a source where there is continuous use of cash. जहां पे कैश की जरूरत पड़ती है और कैश का बहुत अच्छे तरीके से यूसेज हो रहा है डिस्पाइट बीइंग द स्टेट्स एफर्ट्स टू गो टुवर्ड्स कैशलेस और द डिजिटल इकोनॉमी. People using UPI, the overall universe of people using services like UPI or the unified payment interface is still 250 million or about 1/5 of the population. So let's try to analyze it. We have now got an idea what is survey trying to say to us. Okay, survey is trying to say that we thought of going towards cashless, but we have failed badly. There is only about 1/5 of the population that is using, let's say, UPI services, that is unified payment interface. Okay, one of the thing could be that people are not digitally literate. We would come to this, no worries. So second thing is they are saying 1/5 of the population is about using UPI services, but this could be seen at the brighter side as well. भाई 2016 से पहले अगर हम बात करें कितने ही देश में डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शंस होती थी, the quantum of digital transactions were very very less. If you are seeing this as a failure, this could be seen as an achievement also, that we are able to bring 20% of the economy under those who are using this UPI services. And if we go into the right direction, let's say, if we go into the right direction over a period of time by building upon certain policies, by having policies of the banks, and by creating digital literacy, financial literacy, and bringing more people through our programs like financial inclusion over a period of time, we could obviously make sure that we are able to incorporate more people under the bracket of, let's say, UPI, or we could bring more people towards going towards cashless transactions. The survey bluntly tries to defy the efforts of the government, but we cannot defy the efforts of the government like this. We need to be very much, let's say, aware in our analysis or the critical analysis that this is a part of an ongoing exercise, and we have to take more years, we have to sit in the more longer run, that what it is truly capable of, what is demonetization actually truly capable of, which we could see that over a period of time it is able to bring more and more people under the bracket of, let's say, going towards digital transactions. Now most of the people who are now being literate, somehow they try to or promote this digital transactions as well. भाई एक सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है जब हम डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शंस करते हैं, लेट्स से वन ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम इज, लेट्स से, आईटी सिक्योरिटी स्ट्रक्चर. Now, if you are watching my videos or the sessions on YouTube on economics, you must have come across that I had once in my session told you, now the credit card and debit card details, let's say when we are going shopping online on e-commerce websites, it would not be stored automatically. It would be deleted because now RBI has come up with this thing that your credit card and debit card would be replaced with a new token. हाँ जी, how many of you are aware about this token system that has been introduced? टोकन सिस्टम इंट्रोड्यूस कर दिया गया है कि अब टोकन्स को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया है ताकि आप अपनी सारी डिटेल्स मत शेयर कीजिए, क्रेडिट कार्ड और डेबिट कार्ड की जगह पे आपको एक यूनिक टोकन दिया जाएगा. नाउ दीज थिंग्स टेक टाइम फॉर इट टू स्प्रेड, फॉर पीपल टू बिकम मोर एंड मोर अवेयर, देन ओनली पीपल कुड ट्रस्ट ओवर दिस थिंग्स. मेन प्रॉब्लम इज विद द पीपल हु आर नॉट डिजिटली लिटरेट. They have heard about the financial frauds that happen over the internet or over this e-commerce websites or the online websites. So they are particular, let's say, reluctant to use them. But with the coming of technology and by passing certain policies, we can bring people under this bracket of going towards cashless transactions, and one of the thing is going towards token. And the second thing that is very, very important, you must have seen that RBI in its pilot project has introduced concept of e-rupee. I think you must be aware about this as well. From 1st November this concept has been introduced of e-rupee, जहां पे उन्होंने इलेक्ट्रॉनिक रुपी की बात कर दी है कुछ सर्टेन सेक्टर्स के अंदर. बेसिकली होलसेल के अंदर उन्होंने इंट्रोड्यूस किया है इस कंसेप्ट को. There are two types of e-rupee, retail and wholesale, and for certain banks for settling their government securities, they have introduced this wholesale concept of e-rupee, that is a digital rupee. Yes, बिल्कुल ठीक है जी, जैन जी बिल्कुल ठीक है, हाँ जी. So इस वजह से हमें क्रिटिकल नहीं होना है इतना कि it has become a failed move. Yes, you need to know what are the facts that are relating to usage of transactions, but we need to look at the brighter side as well, what is there in the coming future. Okay guys, so this was it for today's session, where I tried to cover two topics. That were, the first topic was the currency watch list by the US Department of Treasury, and the second was the 6 years of demonetization. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, and otherwise stay tuned with us for a daily, weekly current series of these current affairs, which are guys आपके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा helpful है. Do share your feedback if anything you want us to improve on that as well. So thank you, goodbye.